Hello and welcome to our channel. Today, we're going to do a recap of a South Korean drama and comedy film called A Star is Born from 2018. But before we begin, beware of spoilers and enjoy the video. The film starts with the famous singer, Jackson Maine, getting ready to perform to a sold-out audience, but only after secretly taking a few pills with some whiskey. He sings the song Black Eyes, which the crowd loves. After the concert, Jack drinks more booze in his car and leaves. Meanwhile, Ali is a songwriter working at a catering hall. She is seen breaking up with her boyfriend over the phone before joining her friend Ramon at work, where she gets constantly chewed out by her boss Brian. In the daytime, Ali works at this bar, and at nighttime, she performs songs as well. After work, Ali heads toward a performance while singing to herself. After Jack's show, his driver, Phil, takes him around the city to find a bar where Jack can drink, but they don't find any. At first, Jack catches up with Phil and asks him how his son is doing. Phil informs him his son is 17 years old now and he got a scholarship to play baseball in college. Jack gets annoyed when he runs out of alcohol, so he orders his driver to take him to the nearest bar, which happens to be a drag queen bar. There, he meets Ramon. Ramon recognizes him and starts treating him like the celebrity he is and tells the bartender to get Jack whatever drink he wants. Jack gets a few drinks with him while some drag queens perform songs on stage. Then, Ali comes up to perform La Vie en Rose. Ali has a very mesmerizing voice and she has the range to sing different types of genres. Jack loses himself to admiration while listening to Ali with deep concentration. Jack gets moved to tears by Ali's voice, and Ramon arranges for the two of them to meet in the dressing room. Ali chats with her and asks Jack what brings him around to this bar. He tells her he's a musician and he performed right around here, in the city. She asks him how his show went before a drag queen approaches Jack and asks him to sign his boobs. Jack charms Ali and invites her to have a drink, but first, Jackson performs a song for one of the drag queens there. Jack takes Ali to a cop bar where she tells him that she doesn't sing her songs because people have told her that while they like her music, they don't like her face. Jack disagrees and tells Ali that she is beautiful. An off-duty cop then walks over and harasses Jack for a photo, which Ali finds disrespectful, and she punches the man in the face. Jack then takes Ali to a grocery store to get frozen peas for her injured hand. The cashier lady takes their picture without their consent. Jack doesn't mind, but Ali does. They go outside of the store and Jack tapes the frozen peas pack on her hand. Ali asks him how he handles people, the public, that talk to him like he's not a real person or take pictures of him. He does not answer her and fixes her hand. Ali tells him not to change the subject and answer her. She asks him where he's from. Arizona, he replies. He tells her about her dad, that he had a midlife crisis so he moved to Arizona and worked for a family on a pecan ranch. He tells her his mother died when she gave birth to him and her dad died as well. Now, Jack only has an older brother that raised him. Ali feels sorry for him and then she sings the song Shallow that she wrote, and Jack loves it. Jack takes Ali to her home and invites her to see him perform at a show, but she declines as she has to go to work. Ali returns home to her father, Lorenzo, and his friends, who all work together as part of a limo driving service. Back at his place, Jack gets the report of his ear from the medical specialist. He tells Jack that he will hand Jack's ear report to his brother, Bobby, because he is Jack's manager. The doctor had prescribed Jack a medical device for his ear, which in truth, Jack didn't use. He also didn't implement the precautions the doctor advised him. That's why the doctor wanted to hand his reports to his older brother. Jack now rehearses for his show when his brother, Bobby, approaches him and commands him to wear the ear machine that the doctor advised him to wear. Jack does not listen to him and acts in a skirmish and disrespectful way. Bobby tells him to show a little pride in what he does for a living because if he loses his hearing once, it won't be coming back again. Later, Phil goes to Ali's home to pick her up to fly her to the show, but Ali insists that she has to work. While at work, Ali gets annoyed when Brian chastises her for being late, so she finally decides to quit, and she takes Ramon with her to fly and see Jack, who starts by performing one of his hits, Maybe It's Time. At the show, Jack invites a nervous and hesitant Ali on stage to sing Shallow together, and the audience loves it. Videos of their performance become a viral sensation. Jack brings Ali back to his hotel room for some alone time. However, Jack gets high and passes out. His manager, older brother Bobby, has to help Jack to bed. Bobby tells Ali that he hasn't seen Jack perform like that in a while, and he credits her for that, but he also warns her to be careful around him. Ali starts to join Jack as he tours around the country, and they start to form a relationship. One day, Jack tries to bring Ali to a farm that he bought for Bobby, only to find that Bobby sold it. He finds Bobby and punches him in the face, feeling that Bobby betrayed him and their late father. Bobby blames their alcoholic dead father for introducing Jack to alcohol when Jack was only a teenager, and he states that their father's body was washed away in a storm. Bobby then quits working with Jack. Ally joins Jack for another performance on stage to sing Always Remember Us This Way. After the show, Ally meets Rez Gavron, a record producer who wants to sign her to his label. Although he's not crazy about the idea, Jack supports Ally's choice to join the label and stands behind her. Ally soon becomes a rising star in music, and she and Jack start to live together in a country house with a dog named Charlie. During one of her shows, she chooses to leave her dancers off stage, which doesn't sit well with Rez. He also suggests that she dye her brown hair blonde, which Ally doesn't want to do. She eventually dyes it a bright red color. Jack tells Ally that he will be at one of her shows, but he gets loaded and passes out in front of the home of his old friend, George Noodles Stone, a retired musician. Noodles invites Jack inside to share a meal with his wife and kids. Ally later shows up and forgives Jack for missing out on her. He goes into another room and cuts a piece of guitar string to fashion into a ring. With it, he uses it to propose to Ally, and Noodles then suggests that he can arrange for them to be married the same day. With several people in attendance, Jack and Ally tie the knot in a private wedding ceremony. Over the next few months, Ally's career continues to skyrocket, while Jack's career deteriorates, and he continues to hide his substance abuse from the public. Rez books Ally a spot as the musical guest on Saturday Night Live, which Alec Baldwin is hosting. She performs a new song, Why Did You Do That? As Jack watches Ally on stage, Bobby shows up, and the two of them reconcile. While Ally is taking a bath, a very drunk Jack starts to berate Ally for her suggestive new song, making her seem like a whore and calling her ugly. Ally angrily throws Jack out. Ally gets nominated for 3 Grammy Awards, including Best New Artist. Jack is hired to play a Roy Orbison tribute with a younger artist. During the performance of Pretty Woman, Ally notices that Jack is drunk, high, but he manages to make it through the song. Later at the Grammys, Halsey announces Ally as the Best New Artist winner. Ally goes up to accept and gives a speech, but the very drunk Jack screws it up by hobbling on stage and then pissing himself right next to Ally, and finally fainting on stage. Lorenzo and his friends bring Jack into a nearby bathroom, where he yells at Jack for ruining Ally's big night. Ally stays by Jack's side in the shower. Sometime later, Jack enters a rehab program and attends weekly group AA meetings. When Ally visits him, Jack tearfully apologizes to her for what he's been doing. Another time later, Jack finally comes home from rehab. Ally tries to suggest to Rez that Jack join her for her upcoming tour to rejuvenate his career, but he says that's out of the question, for the stress might trigger a relapse, and Ally says she would rather cancel the tour at the risk of her career. Rez later personally talks to Jack at his home and tells him that he ought to stay away from Ally because he is just going to drag her down with his behavior and substance use. Before heading to one of her shows, Ally tells Jack that she is canceling her tour so that they can spend the summer together. Jack promises he will go to her last concert and try to stay sober. Ally is at her show waiting for Jack to show up, but he is at home, having taken some pills and booze. He goes into his garage with his belt and shuts the door with Charlie sitting outside. In between songs, Ally asks someone to go to the house to pick Jack up, but he has already hung himself. After learning of Jack's suicide, Ally is distraught and spends time alone. But she has a mental breakdown and smashes a couple of her framed posters. Bobby consoles her and tells her that Jack's death was his fault and not her own. She is remorseful because the last thing she did was lie to him. A memorial service for Jack is held. Ally performs a song that Jack had written but never sang called I'll Never Love Again. As she sings, there are clips shown of the time the two spent together, ending with Jack singing the end of the song himself for Ally. That's all for today. If you liked this video, then please like, share, and comment. Press the bell icon so you don't miss any updates, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Take care and see you next time.